now
Okay.
go.
Hi guys, my name's Rebecca. I'm here to talk about algae biofuels today. So some questions to consider. Why is biodiesel actually considered clean when it's still burning diesel? It's considered clean because all the CO2 that is burnt off in the process actually came out of the environment previously. So instead of releasing extra CO2 like most fossil fuels does, it just re-releases carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. How does algae feel different from other biocrops? The crops, normal crops like corn, uses more land than the algae will. Algae can grow in places where other crops can't. So here in Florida, we can't really grow corn. We can grow algae though. It requires less nutrients, and it grows faster. It normally takes about 12 days for the algae to grow to enough where we can harvest it. Alright, so the process first, you genetically modify the algae to where it'll create more of the lipids that you want. You then cultivate it, treat it, and process it. So why genetic modification? Most people, when you think about genetic modification, you kind of think of weird, crazy stuff, but that's not really how it is. Some benefits of genetic modification in food and animals include resistance to pests, larger yields, reduced usage of pesticides, and it's a sustainable solution. So why algae? There's a large species diversity. There's tons of different species of algae that we could grow. It creates high energy yields. It is biodegradable, so there's nothing going into landfills. It's sustainable. It has other useful byproducts that we can also sell, and it's less land requirements. So for actually growing and producing the biofuel, the first step is, of course, growing the algae and the diatoms that we want. Some of the genetic modifications I talked about that you can do is to modify the diatoms so they have a larger lipid yield that'll give you more oil. And the algae you can also modify to produce more hydrogen gas, do more photosynthesis and produce more hydrogen gas that you can then use to fuel the rest of the plant. The next step is harvesting, and then the diatoms are sent off to a lipid extraction plant, and the green algae is sent to a pigment extraction plant. You can then, to get the lipids into a usable biofuel form, they go into biofuel reactors where you get biodiesel, and you also get excess silica that you can sell to nanotechnology and semiconductor manufacturers. And you can also get other proteins from the green algae. So the next step after growing is harvesting. The diatoms are clumped together using an effluent. They then go through a process called flocculation, where you add a cationic starch, and it drops the diatoms out of solution. They're then separated and dried and sent to processing. The green algae is easier because they're bigger. You can just filter it, dry it, and then extraction and processing. So diatom extraction, the cell walls are hard silica material, and so to break them open, you just add a little bit of electric current. You then flush it with a solvent to extract the lipids. All of the extra biomass can be sent back to the grow facility to be used as nutrients for the next batch. And then you can dry and collect the silica membrane, and like I said, you can sell that to semiconductor and nanotechnology facilities. For the algae, it is a little bit harder to break open their cell membranes. So you'll use a combination of high pressure and steam. You then, again, use solvent to extract the pigments that you want and any other proteins. So finally, once you get the lipids, you want to go through a biodiesel conversion setup. Basically, you get fatty acids straight from the diatoms, which you then add CoA ligase and ATP to get fatty acyl CoA. You add glycerol 3P to get 1-acylglycerol 3P. More fatty acyl CoA to get 1,2-diacylglycerol 3P. And then you go through a hydrolysis step with more fatty acyl CoA to get triacylglycerol. And then you go through a saponification process with aqueous sodium hydroxide and methanol to get your clean biodiesel fuel. Any questions?